Hello again. My name is Veston, but you probably already know that by now. Today, I want to talk about one of the weirdest yet fun English shows 4Kids Entertainment has done, and it was called Fighting Foodons, originally called Bistro Recipe in Japan. The story is that in a kingdom far, far away, an evil ruler who goes by the name of King Gorge has taken over the entire planet and has his whole army of gluttons to turn the rebel chefs into slavery. Following in his father's footsteps, Chase and his sister Kayla must find a way to stop King Gorge and save the world. How, I hear you ask? Well, the answer is with creatures called Foodons that can prepare for battle in case of the extremely tough baddies. Yeah, it is somewhat of a Pokemon knockoff, but I must say it is an interesting one, almost as interesting as Dinosaur King years later. And despite what some people might say, I think 4Kids Entertainment did a fabulous job at going through those stories in its 26-episode run. The cast of characters were mostly voiced by a veritable who's who of actors and actresses who had previously worked on Pokemon. Tara Sands, the star of Fighting Foodons, voices Chase, the son of Chef Jack, who has been chosen to fight off the gluttons after stopping a giant beefsteak monster in Gorgetown. And after a minor failure with making meatballs, his skills, improvement, and learning methods make Chase the leader of the rebel chefs. Amy Pallant voices Kayla, Chase's 8-year-old sister, who is very protective of her own Foodon cat, Omelette. While she mostly stays out of danger, she was once kidnapped by the Foodon ghosts of Master Chef Flambe. Justified, though, considering that Flambe's daughter looked a little bit like Kayla. Amy would later become the voice of Tails in Sonic X. Casey Rogers voices Python, a 5-year-old boy who joins their group after his parents get kidnapped by the Gluttons. But even after he saves his family 7 episodes later, he realizes that the journey is the destination, and he would stop at nothing to help Chase win the war. Maddie Blaustein voices Oslo, once the ruler of all food until King Gorge took over the realms, who acts as Chase's mentor to help him overcome the strongest and hardest of battles. Ted Lewis voices Chef Jack, the father of Chase who helped him fight alongside the others. Lisa Ortiz voices Coco, a teenage girl from Banana Island who joined the rebels in episode 8. She had developed a crush on Chase, much to Kayla's annoyance. Andrew Reynolds voices Albert, a former rival of Chase, but he's also a huge fanatic of his father. And finally, Veronica Taylor portrays Claudia, a cat girl who worked for King Gorge to try to put a stop to Chase and his friends from saving the world. But there is more than meets the eye. For every failure that Claudia's gone through, she gets called out. Eventually fed up with her failures, King Gorge almost destroyed the girl. And I felt bad for her. When King Gorge made his escape, they stopped for a moment to help Claudia out, where Chase fed her some hearty fried rice, which reverts her back to human. You see, her real name is Dia, but even after she returned back to normal, she doesn't have any memories reflecting on how she was transformed into a cat or whatever. I guess there was a policy of 4Kids that any character who was voiced by Veronica Taylor can't be evil. Additional voices included Scotty Ray, Andrew Reynolds, Eric Stewart, Megan Hollingshead, James Carter Cathcart, Amy Birnbaum, Dan Green, and David Brewer, amongst others. Of all of them, I think Megan Hollingshead was the best choice for Rose Marinade. I mean, Megan had voiced Cassidy in Pokemon, so I guess you could say that this was her next entry in a villain role. Now, despite what the critics say, I love this show, and I won't deny that the dub is very well done. The people behind the show really knew how to go through a whole 26-episode story arc without any minor setbacks. Not to mention, some of the songs in the show, like the Foodon Fresh Festival and Mixing It Up, are fantastic in my opinion. My favorite episodes are as follows: You Want a Piece of Me, Attack of the Burger Brigade, A Salt and Pepper, and A Dish Served Cold. I think the show had a very important lesson. It's always important to take your time to cook and prepare your meals properly, and it's important to live in peace and not in war. And Chase certainly stopped the war, thankfully for him. And quick clips, if you are watching this, if you haven't seen or heard the show yet, please check it out. A link is provided in the description. In my opinion, it's one anime before Food Wars that could get you in a hungry mood. Join me next week when I do my top 5 favorite Master Quest episodes from Pokemon. Until then, this is Veston saying thank you and goodbye.